Make sure you guys have a lot of coffee. I got you.
You good?
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm gonna buy bigger cups here. No, seriously, guys, but I can eat outside. Maybe big ones. Let's go.
All right, so we are now live. We had some people desperate at home.
Should have been to class.
Bobby,
Should have been to class.
she couldn't. Some people can. Look who's talking. Like he's been watching the class like 3 times from home. I'm like, really? You're here giving advice. All right, Barbara, I just added to the group, accepts the invitation, and you should have access to the live today. And then what I'm going to prepare tomorrow with Marlene, what I'm going to prepare tomorrow, you should have access. Everything is going to be on the Facebook group, okay? Can't get better than that, so. All right, so we stopped at question 45. It's closed book, so close the book, put all the questions away. Kelly, questions away. I don't want you to have the questions with you because I need you not to look at the answers only after I read, right? Why do I do this? Because of the way I read the questions. Get used to reading the questions the way I do, right? So notice when I stop or when I emphasize something, because that's the key to the question or to the answer, okay? All right. So we stopped at question 45. We've got question 46 right now. And it says Rex Vale lives in one side of a duplex. What is a duplex? Side by side what? Two family. Ah. See how important this is? Because there's even a question about discrimination that talks about duplexes. The only time that we can discriminate in New Jersey is in a duplex or up and down two family. So duplex is a two family side by side or up and down. The duplex side by side. The other type of two families up and down, okay? So it could be a discrimination question. Got it? But it could also mean something else. You just need to know that duplex means two family side by side, okay? B45, all right, cool. So, here we go. Rex Vale lives in one side of a duplex and he refuses to rent the other side to Marion Washington, a single black woman with good credit and income. He tells her he wants to choose his neighbors. Marion may have remedy under which of the following acts? Discrimination, there you go. A, Fair Housing Act of 1968. B, Civil Rights Act of 1866. D, New Jersey Law Against Discrimination. I'm sorry, C, or D, none of the above.
See.
Write it, oh, so don't voice it.
No.
The way it goes is you write down the question number, write down the blank piece of paper I gave you. You're gonna write down the question number. That was good though. Write down the question number and put the answer in front of it. Do not voice it until I ask. Right now, I want you guys to think. And in case you haven't noticed also from Friday, what I assume to be fair time to think is what I give you guys. When I say write it down, I give you, in some questions, I give you a little bit more time. Others like, come on, let's do it. Because these are the easy ones. Does that make sense? So, let's go back. Let me ask again. Rex Vale lives in one side of a duplex. And he refuses to rent the other side to Marion Washington, which is a single black woman with good credit and income. He tells her he wants to choose his neighbors. Marion may have a remedy, meaning she can claim something or fight for something, under which of the acts? Fair Housing Act of 1968, Civil Rights Act of 1866, New Jersey Law Against Discrimination, or none of the above. Write down the answer. The answer is,
B.
D.
B.
B.
say louder, Marlene.
B.
B as in boy. Is that what you said? Guys, remember, race and color, 1866, all day. You guys remember that? I said focus on 1866, not the whole, you don't need to know the whole thing, Civil Rights Act or Fair Housing Act. You need to remember, 1968, they added religion and national origin. But in 1866, where everything started, and there's no exemptions, was race and color. What it's saying here in this question, she's a single black woman, immediately, color issue. Nothing else to think about. Because if it was 1968 law, there was exemptions, right? There would be exemptions. But thanks to Jones versus Mayer, a lawsuit where a black man tried to buy a house in St. Louis County, Missouri, right? They enforced this law to where there's no exemptions. So this is the one, 1866, race and color immediately. Got it? So automatically, yes.
But it's a duplex. I mean,
Doesn't matter. Race and color, no exemptions.
it doesn't mean that she's gonna win. She just has the right to file, right? Because,
She's gonna win it because it's an act.
No exemptions.
yeah, but he's not doing it because she's black. She just wants.
No, he's doing it because he's black. She's black.
Oh,
She has a good credit.
She has good credit and income, meaning she qualifies to rent.
yeah, but if you have like 3 other people, with good income and credit,
He doesn't talk about that.
I'm just saying.
She's
That was
she's
possible.
qualified.
Alright.
She's qualified. And they're looking for which remedy does she have? She's qualified. Is she gonna win? So it says may have, right? Is she gonna win? If the landlord can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he had other qualified persons and that's what he was gonna pick, that's what you're going with, then maybe. It was not a basis on the color, it was basis on the good credit or income. Is that what it says here? Does it mention that there's other people with good, better offers or equally desirable offers? No. So the point here in this question, was color. And she's qualified. If she wasn't qualified, if the question says bad credit, right? Then she cannot go against anything. Because she doesn't qualify based on credit or income. In this type of question, this is what they're looking for. It was color, 1866, automatically.
And also the question says follow X. I can say that with X.
No, but it wouldn't be that. Because-
Followed by that.
Because again, as I was just saying, if it said bad credit, then the answer was be D. She cannot go after anything. Because the issue was
So
not
that
qualifying.
wouldn't be- Either way, it wouldn't be an X.
Has nothing to do with it.
You wouldn't be an X anyways.
What do you
They
mean
would
with
take it
that?
out the, Mary may have a run money under the, which of the following X? Eu não consigo falar essa palavra.
Acts.
Yeah,
You're
that one.
fine.
So,
Just in case I pick on her a lot. So. On everybody, so I'll pick on you guys too. So go ahead.
whatever it's gonna be.
Okay, go.
Yeah, that's what I meant. If you didn't have the following and just a question mark, then you,
It could have said which of the following as well. It's fine.
yeah, but this says X over there, so kinda, give you hints.
All these three are acts.
I don't know if there's law against discrimination.
Well, don't tell me that.
But
All right, 47. You guys got this? You good? Solid? I saw Kelly go like, oh, that's what it was. That's what it was.
one of the questions.
But now you know how to answer, right?
No, I'm not gonna get it in this test. Really.
You're gonna get something similar. What do you need to remember? 1866, race and color. 1968, religion, national origin. Just make a reference to page 54. There's a table there about that.
Page 54.
Yes. There's a table there that's your cheat sheet to know what applies to what. All right, 47. It says, in valuation of a large office building, which approach is given most weight? The cost approach, income capitalization approach, market data approach, or all equal weight? Write down your answer. when you're trying to figure out the value of a large office building, which approach is given the most weight, meaning which one is most accurate for this type of building? Is it the cost approach, the income capitalization approach, the market data or sales comparison approach, or all of them have equal weight when it comes to a large office building? Write down your answer. And your answer is? B as in boy. Thank you. B as in boy. Guys, you need to remember, it's an office building, so there's rental income, right? A cost approach will be for something that has no comparables or no income, like a church, a school, right? We addressed this on Friday, right? A church, a school, for instance, has no income. So cost approach is the correct one for that. In this one, there's income, but we don't have enough comparables because there's not enough buildings out there of the same style to compare to. So we use the income that it brings to calculate how much the building is worth. Okay? Yes.
I got it right, but I want to study this chapter. This is chapter
16. Appraisals. Okay?
Which is the answer for the 46?
B as well. Mhm. He walks in and he goes like, B. I like that. I like that. All right. A broker, question number 48. A broker must pay Social Security taxes, workers' compensation, and unemployment insurance for all A, associates, B, part-time salespersons, C, independent contractors, or D, employees. Write down your answer, 48. Your broker must pay taxes, compensation, and insurance for all associates, part-time salespersons, independent contractors, or employees. And your answer is? D as in David. If they're employees, they have set schedule. They have a certain amount of hours. So as soon as your broker starts demanding more than what he should, then automatically you are an employee. And therefore, taxes must be deducted from every paycheck. Okay? Very good. 49. The fiduciary duty forbids a listing broker advising a seller that the list price is too high, negotiating for an offer if it is below the listed price, advertising property at less than the listed price, or relisting the property at a lower price. So, let me ask the question again. Fiduciary duty prohibits or forbids a listing broker from advising a seller that the list price is too high, negotiating for an offer if it is below the listed price, advertising the property at less than the listed price, or relisting the property at a lower price. Write down your answer. Fiduciary duty means obligation to your client, right?
Mhm.
So the obligation to your client prohibits or forbids the listing broker, so somebody representing the seller, from advising the seller the list price is too high, negotiating for an offer if it is below the listed price, advertising property at less than the listed price, or relisting property at a lower price. And the correct answer is C. Advertising property at less than the listed price. If the seller said, this is what I want for it, then that's what you can advertise for, period. Now,
I'm confused.
let me just go over this and then I'll address that. So A, advising the seller the list price is too high. Yes, it's our duty to care so much for our clients that we show them, hey, these are the comparables. Your property is worth X amount. Why are you listing for Y amount? Does that make sense? Negotiating for an offer, if it is below listed price, we have to present every single offer. It's mandated that we present every offer, even if it's lower or higher. It could be a $1 offer. You still have to present, right? So that's part of negotiations when you're presenting. And if the seller says, yeah, let's go forward, then you're negotiating, period, right? The last one, relisting property at a lower price. Well, if they allow us to, because you don't relist without their authorization. The thing is that C, the seller said, this is what I want. And you're advertising for less than what's there, that's illegal. It's forbidden. Okay? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't remember.
Okay. Any questions? Nope. Good. Shaisha, did you get this? Oh, that's why you thought it would be B. Okay.
Okay, so C and D, D was the releasing property at lower price. If it's releasing, I was confused because you could take out the mark and just release again, but you have to go through.
For us to relist, we need the seller's authorization regardless. But we can relist at a lower price. What we can't do is there's a stated price and we are offering for less than that. Imagine it's listed for 500,000. You're advertising on Craigslist or Facebook. Hey, buy this house for only 480, or as low as 480. If it's listed for 500, you just told the world this property would go for less than what they market. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just reading the question here. All right, so Shaisha, but she's saying, I thought you couldn't say less than, and that's why I thought B would be correct, right? So the B just says you're negotiating an offer if it is for below the listed price. Because again, as I said, all offers that come in, right? All offers that come in must be presented. And if allowed, you're negotiating, okay? What you can't do off the bat is advertise something, again, something that's less than what is listed for. All right, Rashad is watching from home. Hey, Rashad. Let's go to 50. Okay. 50. Which of the following represents a voluntary lien? First of all, what is voluntary? Something you want to do, right? So which one represents a voluntary lien? A, mortgage. B, special assessment. C, estate tax. Or D, ad valorem tax. Write down your answers. Rashad, close your book, please. It's like giving the answer before I even finished. It's funny. So, the answer is A, mortgage, right? Because we asked for the mortgage. Who asked for special assessments, estate taxes, or the general taxes?
Crazy person.
Crazy people, right? Tax me. No, nobody said ever.
Oh, God.
Math question. All right, calculators. Calculators. A house sold for $157,000. That's the sales price. The broker charged 6% commission and divided it as follows. 10% of those 6 goes to salesperson Alan, who took the listing, and the rest is divided equally between the salesperson who made the sale and the broker's office. What was Alan's commission? Before you start going into it, look at what they're asking. Whose commission are they asking for? Alan's. It's that 10% guy, not the rest, right? Okay, so think about that, do it, and I'll come back to you in a second. I'm done, are you done?
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's cute. My question is cute.
That's right. If it's a math question, what do? Skip it to the end. Not today, but yeah. we'll
And
skip
I
it to the end.
ended out with like 8. Okay. I was like, oh, no.
That's fine. Good morning, how are you?
Good, I just came here to the coffee.
Since you're not wearing those slippers, I think you brought them for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my pink slippers with a-
Tell him we're gonna give him for Christmas. We're gonna get the red one.
Not in your size.
I'll sport it. I'm good. Think of, Kelly, think of it as if you're in the state exam, so to yourself. Because in the state exam, you cannot talk to the person next to you. Not that it matters, because in the state exam, you're taking the exam next to somebody taking cosmetology, so it won't matter. Oh, yeah. So what might happen is you're doing real estate and the computer to the right and the computer to the left, they're taking cosmetology, insurance, firearms, totally different. Oh, yeah. And then the other person doing real estate is like across the room.
You just shut up.
Be like, yo! And cameras right on top of you, just so you know, right?
Well, what if I'm just giving them my number?
After. All right, how you guys doing? Do we have an answer? You think you do? All right, so let's go over the answers real quick. 942, 4,710, 9,420, or 15,700. Correct answer is A. A is an apple. All right. Did anybody get this wrong? No? You got it wrong?
No, just.
Huh?
Anybody at home?
Oh, I'm looking at it. They're good. Rashad gives me 942, like he gives the actual answer instead of just putting A. But I appreciate it.
Well, you didn't have it up yet. Maybe that's why he sent it right before you had it.
I know, I'm just messing with him. All right, so everybody got this one.
Yeah.
It was easy, right?
That one, yeah.
Cool. What made it easy? Figuring out what they're asking and what is not needed. That's what makes it easy. Okay? Yeah, no. Rashad was like, sheesh. Yep. You decided to stay home, Rashad, so that's it. You're going to hear from me for the next 3.5 hours. Or 3 hours. All right. 52. Smith Waterhole Company constructed a swimming pool. With this name, I would not hire them. On completion, they filed a lien for non-payment. This was most likely a general lien, a special lien, construction lien, or voluntary lien. Write down the answer. Non-payment for work. This was A, general lien, B, special lien, C, construction lien, or D, voluntary lien. And the answer is construction
Oh,
for non-payment,
I was
right?
gonna say specially,
Yeah.
because
If
it's,
it said specifically,
right.
that would be a possible answer. It said special lien, there's no special liens. All right. Are we gonna do this again then?
She's like, oh, I'm sick.
I'm Bruno, but you shouldn't be coughing into my camera.
Give me calls when I call.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Like, hey, pause. I see it coming and pause. No. All right. 53. The term leverage We covered this on Friday. The term leverage refers to the movement of the people, we play a little Bob Marley now, that enhances value in the area, the use of borrowed money to finance most of an investment, using influence at the bank to make a loan, or measuring the impact of the cash flow. Write it down. The term leverage means movement of the people that enhances value in the area, the use of borrowed money to finance most of an investment, using influence at the bank to make a loan, or measuring the impact of the cash flow. And the answer is B as in boy, using borrowed money to finance most of the investment instead of putting everything yourself. Very good. So as soon as I saw A, I'm thinking about Exodus, the Bob Marley. Movement of the people. You know, those jingles. I'm always happy. Always.
Sometimes you're cracky.
When somebody doesn't bring me my pink slippers.
Okay.
All right, 54. The illegal practice of inducing panic selling in a neighborhood for financial gain is called A, steering, B, redlining, C, blockbusting, or D, canvassing. The illegal practice of inducing panic selling in a neighborhood for financial gain is called panic peddling. Is scaring people, creating panic, right?
Canvassing.
What's canvassing?
Yeah.
It's knocking on several doors.
That's it?
Huh?
That's it?
That's it. We go door to door
I'm
canvassing.
gonna go canvassing.
For $5, I'm going for canvassing. All right, correct answer is
C.
blockbusting, scaring people into selling their property because of the potential entry of certain people, minority people, into the neighborhood.
What was redlining mean?
Redlining, I can't because it's coming up. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Redlining, you got to remember that it's insurance or mortgage. When they refuse to issue an insurance policy or lend you money because you live in a particular area, not because of your financial qualifications. South Tom's River, right? Anyway. All right. And you just gave the answer for Rashad, why it would not be B. All right, 55. A broker must obey a seller's instructions to avoid all mention of the septic system, show the property only to white couples, refuse low offers without presenting them, or B, be present personally at all showings of the property. Write down the answer. A broker must obey a seller's instructions to avoid mentioning the septic system, to show property only to white couples, to refuse offers, low offers without presenting them, or be present personally at all showings of the property. Write down the answer. You know we must obey all lawful instructions, right?
Mhm.
And the correct answer is
D.
D as in David. The broker, if they say, hey, don't mention the septic system, that's material information. Anything, any defects about the property must be presented. Showing the property only to white couples, that's discrimination, right? And refusing low offers without presenting them. By law, you have to present them. You can only deny if they don't bring pre-approvals, okay? 56. A document that transfers possession but does not transfer ownership.
Oh, man.
A document that transfers possession but does not transfer ownership is a warranty deed, deed with restriction, will, or lease. Write it down. It transfers possession of the property, but not the ownership. Correct answer is lease. D. Very good. Because the lease allows you to take possession of the property, but you don't become the owner. I see a lot of smiles today. They're like, yeah, I'm getting it. All right. Good. At home, they're doing good too. All right. Rashad went home so he could check the answers as he live. All right. Triggering terms are phrases in an advertisement. Triggering terms are phrases in an advertisement that move the buyer to action, first catch the reader's attention, mislead the reader as to a geographic location, or require full disclosure or financing details. Triggering terms are phrases in an advertisement that move the buyer to action, first catch the reader's attention, mislead the reader as to a geographic location, or require full disclosure of financing details. Write down the answer. Hey, Rashad, I'm just messing with you. It's like no open books. I'm going to trust you because I have a camera on you right now. All right. Triggering terms. This is Regulation Z, advertising rules. If you say that this rental is going to be, this purchase is $1,400 a month, you better back it up, right? It's either going to be $1,400 a month for everybody, or you committed fraud because you are misleading somebody, but not to the geographic location, right? It's based on financial details. Not everybody qualifies in the same way. You understand? We all have our financial fingerprint. So if I say $1,400 a month for this two-family, I better state as well, so the triggering terms, I have to state 2 qualified buyers, because not everybody's approved the same way. So the answer is requires full disclosure of financing details. You got it? So what chapter is this from? This is mortgages, and it will be chapter 15. No.
It's a mortgage. You
Yeah,
can
but
say they can do the entire thing.
The worst things in mortgages is chapter 15. All right. It's the chapter that everybody was dying. So you guys remember that? That's what it is. 58, the term depreciation. The term depreciation refers to the value of real estate after its useful life, loss of value in this real estate due to any cause, costs incurred to modernize a building, or capitalized value of rent losses. The term depreciation, the value of real estate after its useful life, the loss of value in real estate due to any cause, costs incurred to modernize a building, or capitalized value of rent losses. Correct answer is? B as in boy. Depreciation is the loss of value due to any cause, because over the years, we have to replace the sheetrock. Over the years, you have to replace plumbing. Over the years, you have to replace roof. So along the way, it loses its value. That's depreciation, okay? All right, calculators. $5. Where's my slip? All right.
Can you not
Where?
say it?
Yeah, you're gonna do it. How many lots, each measuring 72.5 feet wide by 100 feet deep, could be created with a 2-acre block of land? How many lots can you create with these measurements? You have to know how much an acre is. And they're talking about, with yourself, and they're talking about 2 acres. How many lots? that size can you build in 2 acres? I got my answer. You have yours?
Mhm.
I have-
No.
Okay. How many lots can you build measuring 72 wide by 100 feet deep in 2 acres? You good?
No.
All right.
I know that's easy, but I know it's for schools.
So now it's 8.
Hold on.
I'm holding. Even at home, they're taking their time.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it a huge number?
If it's a huge number, no.
No,
Oh, man. I don't know. Hold on.
cannot be just.
You're done?
I'm confused
I'm Bruno. So,
because I know what is an acre, but a lot.
well, do you know how
If you know
how much is
what-
2 acres?
Maybe 700.
Possibly.
Okay. So then I have the square, 72.5, and then 100 inside. No?
Nope. Let's go over this. A, 3. B, 6. C, 9. Or D, 12.
12.
12.
See, I did it wrong, but I get the answer.
All right. Why is it 12? Because you need to figure out first the area of each lot. It's 72 wide by 100 feet.
I divided.
So, no, these are the outside numbers.
Times it.
It's not a square foot lot. That's what you need to figure out, is the square feet. That's why I always say, draw it out. They gave you 72 wide, listen to me, 72 wide. By means X, so times
Ah,
100 feet.
yeah.
So the total area of this lot is 7250, right? If you know how big are 2 acres, how much?
That's 87.
87, 1. Then now you have to divide that by 7,250, and it gives you 12.015678. Something like that.
Mine get 0. Wait.
Can you do all the math?
No, didn't you get it right?
Yeah, but it's like,
That's it.
I don't know, the four scrolls going to the root, 26.
All right, Shaisha, divide that by 7,250, which is the area of each lot. And that will give you 12.01 something. So how many lots can we build? 12. Did you get it now?
Yeah.
All right. Every time you see this right here, 72.5 feet wide, that's the frontage, right? By means times, or X, by 100 feet deep. Now, Yasmin, if it said square feet, that will be the area. That's what goes on inside. It says 100 feet, so automatically just put outside.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out what's the area of the lots, right?
Yeah.
So again, 72.5 times 100, 7,250.
I remember getting this right, just I didn't get it right now.
Say that again, say when inside when it's split. I didn't write,
Okay.
but the thing, the way you explain right now, it's saying,
No, what I said, it doesn't say square feet.
uh-huh.
If it said square feet, that's the area. Because inside it's always square feet. All right? But if you see 72 and a half wide by, that means times the other number automatically. Okay? All right. 60. Hold on. Shaisha, did you get it? Okay. So the amount of money.
Bless you.
The amount of money that will be paid for property by a buyer. She had all this time to sneeze before I started reading, but no, she sneezes when I start reading. You're allergic to the questions. That's what it is.
Mistakes.
Yet she keeps on coming back. Now, the amount of money that will be paid for a property by a buyer to a seller, both being ready, willing, and able to act, and both being fully informed, represents the property's A, exchange value, market value, appraised value, or equalized value. 60, the amount of money that will be paid for property by a buyer to a seller, both being ready, willing, and able, meaning no pressure, able to act, and both being fully informed, meaning they know all the conditions of the property. This represents the exchange value, the market value, the appraised value, or the equalized value. Write down your answer. You guys good?
Yep.
And the correct answer is B as in boy, market value. This is chapter 16. Market value is the most probable value that the property will bring, considering that buyer and seller are fully informed about the assets or the property's assets or defects, that the property had enough exposure on the market, and that they're both ready, willing, and able to buy or sell with no pressure. That is the true market value. Okay? So B is the correct answer. If I can define exchange value, so in the book, there's nothing about exchange value. There's 1031 exchanges, and that's when we trading one property for another of equal value, right? There's consideration, which will be considered exchange of value, not exchange value, exchange of value. So it's how it's written. This question, if it said, what does this number mean? That's the exchange of value, because here's a property in exchange for $100,000. It says exchange value. There's no value in the exchange here. Does that make sense? So what the question is trying to figure out, again, this is chapter 16, appraisals. What they're trying to figure out is, what is the property's true market value, or most probable to be the market value? And when I was teaching in class, I mentioned if the seller's not under pressure, like they're not going through divorce or lost their job and need money or whatever, then they're selling for the true value, right? If the buyer needs to move because their lease is about to end or whatever the reason might be, they're under pressure. They're not looking at the property with its true value. If the property was listed today and it's under contract tomorrow, there's not enough exposure to say that that offer was the most probable offer. Does that make sense? So market value is what they're looking for as we read the question. 61. Bill sold a duplex for profit of $50,000 and took back a mortgage. He owes income tax on the entire gain in the year the property is sold, pays income tax year by year as payment is received, postpones tax if he purchases a vacation cottage within 2 years, or collects interest in the first years and principal later. Write it down. Bill sold a duplex for a profit of $50,000, but he took back a mortgage. He owes income tax on the entire gain in the year the property is sold. He pays income tax year by year as payment is received. He postpones tax if he purchases a vacation cottage within 2 years, or collects interest in the first years and principal later. This is chapter 17, investments. Towards the end of the chapter, we talked about this, installment sales.
That's so confusing.
It's like, for me, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get there. Just answer it and I'll explain right after.
Just explain right after I can have the answer.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you gotta think about it and then I explain. Did everybody answer?
Yes.
All right. 61, the correct answer is
B?
B as in boy.
Yes,
It's right.
and I guess.
That's not exciting at all, the guessing
I
part.
mean,
It is.
it was a common sense.
Because it's common sense.
It was
At least
common sense,
we have
yeah.
common sense. We come here for twice.
So what is common sense?
She came here twice.
Yeah.
Twice for this class.
So explain to me what the common sense was here.
At least I don't understand the question, but I can answer something right, Chapman?
No.
And where's the common sense of it?
No.
How did you come up to that answer?
Because I
Hold on,
know,
hold on.
because my question is, it's like I know if you
Yes, please.
sell, my answer is, in my question, because if you sell a house and you single, that's a house you own, you can gain $250,000 without pay taxes,
Okay.
okay?
You're off on that, but okay.
No, it's my
No, I got it.
opinion, right? And you said you sold the duplex for a profit of $50,000 and took back a mortgage. I don't understand. He sold for a profit $50,000 and took out the mortgage. That's the part I don't understand. I know he cannot propose the taxes and the purchase location, blah, 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 blah. And I know it's not collect interest, the year's principal, you know what I'm saying? And for me, the two make more sense is to the beginning, and the A and B outside B.
You decided B based on your process of elimination.
I
Thank
did
you.
the process of elimination first, so.
Because I don't understand the question.
Okay.
B, I was like, this does not make any sense to the question. So when I saw A, I'm like, he's not gonna own the income tax for the entire property because he just sold. You know, I know he paid the
What?
taxes.
All right.
You cannot
You
gain.
guys, congratulations on getting the right answer, but both of you are way off.
All right, so I knew it was either A or B, because one, we have to pay taxes every year, but
Okay, go.
we do, income tax, we get money taken out of our checks and all that stuff.
Okay, go.
But I also got the whole paying, I just forgot what were the exceptions on paying on profit that you make from selling it. Because another thing was, like, it didn't say if he was married, like, there's, those, what I'm talking about?
All right, so let me break this down for you. Let me break it down.
You have to
And then
understand
you
our part.
also.
I understand.
We are students, that
Defer,
doesn't
and all that
understand the
stuff.
questions. The problem is not us,
It's the question.
it's the teacher. He
Oh,
goes by the
really?
section.
Get out of my class.
Three people.
3 out of,
No.
Why'd you
You
choose
understand?
But you pay taxes on.
all right, no, guys, all right, let me explain. Ready?
Yeah,
First of all, what does take back a mortgage mean?
I don't understand.
That's something that I don't
It's
know.
all
Buy
big
a house,
mortgage.
no? Get a house?
No,
Get a place?
that's where you get confused. What is a mortgage, first of all?
You're paying-
Mortgage is like you take money.
I know that.
Typical. Okay, go.
You
No,
take on for.
no,
No, you say no.
You
no,
pay the debt,
Jasmine,
no.
don't
What's a
cry.
mortgage?
Voluntary.
Wait,
Oh, dead,
debt of the engagement.
that game.
Engagement.
engagement.
Let nobody get married to you because death of the engagement. Damn.
Oh my gosh.
Jasmine,
That's a loan? No.
Mortgage is
Ground.
death grip.
There you go. I
No,
know what
that's the word.
So he paid it all off.
Engagement.
basically, is what you're saying.
Wait, let me break it down for you. Let me go with this. I'm asking questions and you stop and I give you the next question and then we stop. So the mortgage itself is a death grip, but it's a death of the loan. So the bank has a grip on your property until the loan dies. That means the bank took a mortgage.
Mhm.
So if the bank took a mortgage, that means that the bank gave you money, right? When it says the seller take back, that means the seller took the property back, sold it to you, and took the property back in exchange for payments in installment. So the seller becomes the bank, as if they financed the purchase to you. They didn't apply for a mortgage. This is completely incorrect. And in chapter 13, we talked about we cannot say, let's go get you a mortgage. We're going to get you a loan because the bank is the one that gets the mortgage. We give up the property to the bank. The property is the mortgage in exchange for money. So every time it says seller take back, that means seller financing. He took the property against the loan that they gave you, the buyer. All right? So here's what Bill did. Sold the property to you, Anna, but took the property back as security for your installment payments. So instead of you paying all up front,
For sale by owner.
for sale by owner.
Sell by owner. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Hey,
So
that's
instead
easy.
of, that's easy, right? So instead of you going to the
To
bank,
the bank?
the lender is the seller. You guys got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, takes back a mortgage. The mortgage is a house. He took back the house as security. He's the one with a grip on the property over the next 30 years until you pay off the loan.
Ah.
I thought
I thought
he
about
paid it all off.
Wow.
And got another mortgage.
Yes.
So you need to understand the concept that mortgage is not the loan. The loan is a promissory note. Mortgage is a security. Mortgage is the house. So it says takes back a mortgage, that means you took the house back. Okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Good now?
For sale by owner. right?
So every time you see take back a mortgage, that means the seller is the one financing the purchase. The seller became the bank. So Rashad is asking, so Bill gave the buyer a loan? The answer is yes. Bill gave the buyer a loan, and the security for that loan is the house itself. Because that's what mortgage means, house, security, okay? Remember I said that?
Yeah.
We're like loan.
The mortgage is not the loan. That's what we say in real life, but it's completely incorrect.
It's an engagement.
Let nobody get married to you, I'm just saying.
No, get married.
We kill, she says.
Mr. John.
All right, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, a subdivider/developer would like to control the types of vehicles that can be parked in front of homes in his Class C subdivision. He can accomplish this with deed restrictions, enforcement of zoning, reverter clause, or eminent domain. 62. Write it down. It says, Mr. Johnson,
Can I do that in my street?
a subdivider or developer would like to control the types of vehicles that can be parked in front of the homes of his Class C subdivision. He can accomplish this with deed restrictions, enforcement of zoning, reverter clause, or eminent domain. Write down your answer. Make sure your phones are on silent, please. I appreciate that. Avoid the use of phones while we're doing this. And the correct answer is
B.
A.
Caramba. Why?
Deed restrictions, they're restricting what can be done with a property. Remember HOAs, homeowners associations, that's what they do. They put a restriction on what you can or cannot do with the property. The seller puts restrictions, the subdivider puts restrictions. Private parties put restrictions on the property, not the zoning. What do you think the city's gonna say, don't park that type of car over here? No way, all right? So who can control the types of vehicles?
Yeah.
The seller, the subdivider, developer. Private parties place deed restrictions. Okay? You guys good? All right.
Oh, yeah, really wrong.
It's all right, you can have them all wrong. The idea is just understanding the questions.
Hold on, something's wrong.
62.
I missed a question and I'm answer all of them wrong. Since 57.
57.
Yeah,
57, D, 58B, 59D, 60B, 61B.
I got it all wrong.
Good,
Awesome.
she's off today.
You really bad. You happy because she had everything wrong.
I'm happy because she has everything wrong? Wow, okay, then I would be really bad. All right. From now on, you get it right, and then we'll correct those. All right, so 63. One way an investor in real estate may defer capital gains. What does defer mean? Postpone, push it back, right? So one way an investor in real estate may defer capital gains is by exchanging for like property, obtaining maximum leverage, selling for cash, or building reserves. Write it down. One way we can defer or postpone or push later the taxes or the capital gains tax is by exchanging for like property, obtaining maximum leverage, selling for cash, or building reserves.
What does it mean exchange for live properties?
Trading.
Oh.
Exchange is a trade. You guys ready? Mhm. One way, hold on, no. One way that we can defer, postpone, or not pay capital gains this year. Well, defer is postpone. We're not gonna pay it this year, we'll pay it later. Is by exchanging for like property, obtaining maximum leverage, selling for cash, or building reserves.
What is building reserves?
Putting money on the side. Reserve is putting money on the side, your piggy bank,
What is that? Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
Good? Correct answer is
Hey.
A.
For me, it's for
Don't do that. I thought,
What was the-
like you were like, wait.
Oh, like I was
No
gonna say something
suspense,
else?
Yeah. No suspense.
Selling
Stop.
for cash.
He almost had a heart attack right now.
It's the way we cannot show any money.
Think about it this way, guys. Look at me. Guys, Kelly. Think about it this way. Alexandra is quiet, so it's you. I don't know. Barbara's just on her phone, so I don't know. She turned red. All right, so here's the thing, guys. Why is it A? We're asking to postpone taxes. For you to pay capital gains, that means you made money, right? Because capital gain is a profit on the sale of your property versus the money you put in. For you not to pay taxes this year, for you to postpone it, push it for later, all you can do is exchange. Because if you sell for cash, well, you said C before, right? If you sell for cash, it doesn't matter what you sell for. If you have profit, you pay taxes on that profit. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Obtaining maximum leverage. What is leverage? It's borrowing money and using just a little bit of money to purchase. So the down payment versus the full amount. So it has nothing to do with deferred capital gains. Building reserves. Well, if you put money aside, you still have to pay. So exchange. I take a property in exchange for another property of like kind, as long as they're within the same value. So think about it, an eye for an eye. right? It's the same value. Tooth for a tooth is the same value. Does that make sense? As long as there's no gain, right? Then we don't pay taxes now. We pay when we sell later. This is chapter 17, investments. Okay? So we pay later, not now. Exchanges, same value.
All those 401k questions paid off.
See, there you go. I'm still getting upset at him. I'm just kidding. Those are valid questions, just for a lot of reasons, it didn't pertain, it was taking too much time, and that didn't pertain to the class. But those are great questions, actually. All right. Give me a thumbs up at home, thumbs up if you guys got it at home. But thank you.
I used to remember you used to use the emojis. Tell me.
No, give me a
numbers.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 64. Wait. I wanted a thumbs up, not a sure, I guess. So, Shaisha, ask me a question. Let's go back to 63 real quick. You got it? The question here, so you guys know this pertains to section 1031 exchanges. So when you go to chapter 17, you're going to look for the exchange section. It's an investment property, right? So for you not to pay capital gains, there's only 2 ways. If it's a primary residence, you cannot make more, you were saying earlier, you cannot make more than $250,000 profit if you're single, or $500,000 profit if you marry filing jointly. But the moment it says investor, it talks about investment properties, not primary residence. So the only way to postpone, not to eliminate, you still have to pay later. The only way to postpone or defer it is by doing a like kind of exchange. An investment property for an investment property, an income property for an income property, not for a primary residence. So if you took that money and rolled it into a primary residence, you're paying capital gains. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So exchange, 1 for 1, and gives you balance up, 0 for now. Okay, good. 64. Pleasure. In the valuation of a hospital, which approach is given most weight? A, cost approach. B, income capitalization approach. C, market data approach. Or D, all equal weight. You guys notice, right, that she does this exactly as I started.
He coughing and he don't say anything.
Because before I read the question, just saying. So what we're saying here is to evaluate, to appraise a hospital, which approach is the best? Okay? Is it the cost approach? Is it the income capitalization approach? Is it the market data or sales comparison approach? Or all have equal weight? Write it down. And the correct answer is A, cost approach.
I don't understand.
Easy. Does the hospital have income?
No, I don't understand the question.
It does, but it's
I
not
don't
real
understand.
income.
And they have departments.
I don't understand this
Yeah,
question.
there's different
Okay,
departments.
I'm trying to get there, but
Mhm.
Each department. I'm just gonna tell you something. Okay.
it's evaluated totally different. The LLC has it, not the hospital. The corporation has income, not the hospital. Anyway, so income, does it have it? The answer is no. Are there many hospitals to compare to in the area? No, so C cannot be. All having equal weight. If we disqualify these 2, then this is definitely wrong. The reason why, Rashad says yes, hospitals need money. You're going with Brian, I got it.
Charity care.
Right, what about charity care? No money.
What?
Go to A, cost approach. What is the cost of building another hospital just like this one? This is the one that has the most weight because, again, not all hospitals make money. It could be a non-for-profit. Think about it. Non-for-profit makes no money, supposedly, right?
Hospitals and church.
They charge enough. Yes, they do charge enough to the insurance company or to you. But it goes to an LLC, and depending if it's a non-for-profit, most of those costs go towards administration, not for income. So we cannot evaluate it based on profit. Income capitalization approach is based on profit.
Apart from charity care.
So what you're saying, the cost approach is foot by foot then, right? Is what you're saying?
There's square foot method, there's index method, quantity survey method, index method. So there's 4 ways to calculate that. That's chapter 16 appraisals. So back to you. The question, they're asking, how do we appraise or evaluate the potential market value of a property? How do we do this? Right? We're going to use the one that gives most weight. So because some hospitals are for-profit, income capitalization will work, but not all hospitals are for-profit. That's what we need to consider. Okay? Not all schools are for-profit. So if it was a school instead of a hospital, the scenario would be the same. Cost approach. Got it? Yes?
Yeah.
Good. All right. 65. The sale of time scanning units. A, does not require a real estate license. B, allows buyers the right of rescission for 7 days. C, is forbidden to individual owners. Or D, is usually on a flat fee basis. Write it down. The sale of time sharing units does not require a real estate license. Allows buyers the right of rescission or cancellation within 7 days. Is forbidden to individual owners, or is usually on a flat fee basis.
What does it mean forbidden for individual owners?
Forbidden means prohibited,
You can't.
okay? To individual owners. You're an individual, I'm an individual. If we're together, we could be an LLC, a corp, a partnership. But they're saying that you cannot buy. Right? The correct answer for 65 is what? I'm holding.
That's very confusing.
What is confusing?
A and B.
Which ones?
A and B.
Good, because they don't matter. If we're between B and C.
Really?
C doesn't matter either.
So
Correct
it's
answer is B.
B. Okay, so it's right. Okay, good.
No, you weren't right because you didn't tell me the answer.
I didn't, but what I had in mind was B.
All right,
The only thing I was confused is
let
that.
me
Yeah, explain that.
let me explain. No, I got you. Let me explain. Timeshare, isn't it for real estate?
No.
If there's real estate involved, what is required?
Real estate license.
So A is definitely off the option here,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
B allows buyers the right of rescission for 7 days. If it's interstate property, timeshares usually are involving interstate property. Therefore, 7 days to cancel. Let's start with that. Other than that, you have also in Chapter 7, ownership forms, you have that option there. It talks about condos, co-ops, and then at the end, we talk about timeshares. Sorry, Chapter 6, timeshares. Okay? And forbidden to individual owners, that means you cannot be the owner of a timeshare? Of course you can. Flat fee basis, no. Some of them are in installments. Some of them percentage-wise, because what you get is a percentage of the whole thing. Does that make sense? So the correct answer is B. Timeshares, most of them not in Jersey, right? I mean, who wants a timeshare in Jersey? But most of them not in Jersey. Interstate property, there must be at least 7 days to cancel a contract.
Yeah, because it's into.
Out of state, most of the times. All right, there are some timeshares now in Jersey as well, but they fall again under the same principle. Therefore, 7 days, calendar
Hear that
days.
question.
Yeah. That one.
You had this question?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me put this. you know, stars and bonbons in this one.
So, Shaisha, the answer is B. You had it right. All right. We got 66. For those of you yawning, give me 6 minutes, I'll give you a break. 66, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC&Rs, are placed on a condominium or cooperative development by the homeowners association, attorney general's office, developer, or present tenants. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions, I'm pretty sure this is on one of your exams as well, are placed on a condo or co-op by whom? The homeowners association, attorney general's office, the developer, or the present tenants. And the answer,
Hey,
See,
B,
C.
It's like the same question, it's like a previous question.
wait, what?
C.
I gotta write
C.
what I got. It's a covenant.
No, it's a condo or a co-op. See, in a co-op, there's no homeowners association, and that's what disqualifies A. Because in condos, we have homeowner association. In co-ops, we have a board of directors. So who creates the conditions? The developer, the original, creates them. And then homeowner association can change, and the board of directors can change them. Okay? So remember, co-ops, HOA. I'm sorry, condos, HOA, co-ops, board of directors. That's why A can never be. Got it? Say it louder.
Yes.
You can say it in Spanish, we'll understand anyway.
That one was there.
¿se la falló? Sí.
Todo lo que quiera.
Everybody speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
Depreciation.
Yeah, so all the stuff you guys been saying bad about us, yeah, we heard it. I know.
Oh, no, you're not gonna speak Spanish.
No, they don't want
We're gonna
me to
help
speak
you out.
Portuguese.
Yes, we're gonna help you out, don't worry.
Just tell me whatever language you want and I'll go
And
with it.
it talks,
All of it.
Portuguese, right?
yes.
I don't care. It's my
We
first
understand you.
language.
67. Kelly's face.
If you understand language.
You should have seen her face.
Yes.
I wish I had cameras just pointing at you guys, just the reactions. And make a compilation of reactions for YouTube.
We'll make money out of it.
I know.
Sometimes when I see the videos, I see all the reactions too.
Mine are lovely, I know.
It's like,
A ver.
Algo más fácil.
don't.
She's making sure she was talking about it. No. I never say that.
Imagine.
Between Marlene and Paul, I have them both listening and just send me messages. They're like, hey, they just said this, they just said that. Just like, oh my God, this is a Spanish class.
You guys take storage in this class, right?
Yeah. So 67.
Yes.
El objetivo principal. All right, the primary objective of a property manager.
It's good.
The primary objective of a property manager should be to provide the owner with A, low vacancy rates,
Okay,
B,
you read too fast.
Yeah.
No.
the highest,
My brain was following
My
you.
capacity.
you were stuck in Spanish, got it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, you were.
Can we go to French, German, choose one?
Chinese.
Yeah.
The- Kind of,
Oh, he's Korean. He's Korean.
Korean, I'll speak anything, doesn't matter. You guys wouldn't understand it anyway if I started speaking Chinese.
Yes, sure.
You
I
wouldn't-
understand because
You
I,
speak Chinese? You do?
Really?
Go ahead, what is it? Say that. The primary objective, so the goal of a property manager should be to provide the owner with,
Okay.
got it?
Mhm.
We got
Thank you,
it.
Roma.
Low vacancy rates, highest return on the property value, complete monthly report of income and expense, or D, allocated costs.
What is allocated cost?
where you put the money for the expenses, how you allocate it towards this, towards that, whatever it might be. So for instance, if anybody wants to go on vacation, you need to start allocating some of the money towards a reserve to vacation. Okay. Now, what is the primary goal of a property manager? Write down the answer. So Shaisha, the property manager, already answered correctly.
Wow.
Rashad already answered correctly.
See?
She's looking at the book, that's what it is.
Sí.
Mhm.
No?
See,
Correct answer is B as in boy. The primary goal is to get the highest return on property, right?
yeah.
If that's not-
Now, are we required to complete monthly reports?
Yes.
No, because our agreement might say quarterly, might say yearly.
Okay.
You might just say to show us now.
Shovel is no.
May not.
But the primary objective of a property manager is to get the highest return on a property, right? If I hire you to do something for me, I want the best results possible. That's pretty much what the question is. How do we get to those results? Well, property allocation costs, properly reporting, properly hiring and firing people, all that stuff. But the goal of doing these things is to get the highest return possible. 68. If a radon test on a home reveals a reading of 14 PCIs or picocuries per liter, a prospective purchaser should probably not worry about it, report it to the local health department, ask to see the survey, or request remediation. This is chapter 9. If a radon test on a home reveals a reading of 14 PCIs per liter, a prospective purchaser should probably not worry about it, report it to the health department, ask to see a survey, or request remediation. Write down your answer. That's chapter 9. Radon.
I know. Page.
At home, they got the correct answer. You guys got the answer?
Yes.
The answer is
D.
D as in David, correct. Yes, D as in David. Report it to the health department? Really?
No,
No.
no, they're gonna close it.
If it measures 4 PCIs or more, you must have remediation because it's very dangerous. The advantage of dealing with radon is that proper ventilation is the remediation, right? Putting a pipe or something that will extract the air and pump in new air, or just opening doors. But if it's at 14 PCIs, this is dangerous levels.
The record levels, well,
No more than 4. So usually should be within 1.2, 1.5 maybe. Above 4 PCIs is dangerous. We're speaking Chinese. Xinjiang, Ocha?
Should you test it like every 6 months or something to see if you have radon in your house?
Don't have to.
Even though the
You don't have to.
if you open the doors, you don't have that problem.
But that's what you say, it's not good to sleep.
I should have taken.
That's why you don't sleep in basements.
I should have, I was just at a house that had pipe with a little meter. I should have taken a picture of it so you guys can see what it looks like.
Why you don't take a picture?
Because I forgot. I was in the attic. Nobody likes me in the attic.
He forgot he's taking a real estate course.
Mhm.
Anyway. All right, so you guys are going over something there. What's going on? Was that a question? Was that a question in the exam for you guys or no?
No.
Oh, you
No?
want no, that one, no.
So what was the discussion?
No, that one,
Okay.
something else.
No, que no
Okay.
say open the,
Maybe the next
we have a-
one.
abre la ventana para que la mosca fly.
I love people in America. Abre la ventana para que la mosca fly. No para que huele. Fly.
You have to be bilingual over here, you know?
All right, I'm multilingual. Now, Gonna give you guys a quick 5-minute break. Take advantage of that now. Oh, today, nobody ordered.
You said bring no food. You said bring no food. You said no.
Okay.
You said no.
That's why Rashad didn't come today.
Yes.
No
And where's
food.
Justin? Ryan over here.
Ryan, Justin, no food, they don't come. I need to lure them in.
Sabe, assim, é normal uma casa.
No, we're operating.
Subirem para 10.500.
A menos que ele tivesse tax abatement.
Não tem. Walnut Street. Não, mas não
Uma casa
tem.
nova?
Uma casa não é nova, é antiga.
Tem mais de 10 anos?
Tem, para aí, 40 anos. Ou muito mais.
Não é normal.
O que eu faço? Chamo vacinado?
Yep.
Porque it's like,
Just get all tax assessor.
porque eles
You figure me out, says Rashad.
disseram, mandaram-me uma carta, agora me dizer que a minha mortgage ia aumentar $600. Ok? Eu disse, what? $600? It's like que eu estava 4.000 e não sei quanto já abaixo. Quando eu fui já, no website ver as taxas, it's like de 5.100 estava 10.500. Like,
Yeah, no, doesn't make any sense.
eu pensei, será que isto é por causa das coisas que estão a fazer nas casas, das áreas para aumentar o mundo?
Oh, menos que tenha special assessment, yeah.
E assim o dobro?
Pede as taxas à cidade. City Hall and ask go to the tax collector's office
Tem várias.
to get the report, yeah. Os deveres mandam para cá, né?
Não, não, nada, não tem nada. A parte que eu puxava, mas pode ser. What? Yeah.
Yeah, I got some more.
That's twice.
It's scary,
And you
yeah.
have not served me once.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I took
Okay.
Bruno today, that's why.
You ready? Which one? This is French. Both?
Tiene que resolver. Tú tienes que estar en Facebook.
I just.
Come on, man.
I just know that.
Come on. French is easy. You ready, right?
Same.
French is super easy, right?
I know it.
Let me say more in Spanish.
Mas. How do you say?
Pues,
Tiene un grupo.
How is that the same in Spanish? Ah.
it's. But most of French words are like similar to Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, Portuguese too, right? Portuguese
Yeah.
very similar.
French is, my daughter said
It's easy. No, it's hard. It's very hard.
Spanish, the way you pronounce the word is really.
I think English is the easier language. The only problem with English is the accent. The English is so easy. You just have to learn your vocabulary and that's it. But the French, you gotta learn the grammar. How many times you guys take the test? Like?
4 times, but even if I learn
4 times. That's not bad. How many times? That's not bad. I mean, it's not okay, but that's not bad.
16, 17,
After your class, then what you gonna do? You're gonna do.
And always is different. Always. Always. Never the same.
Never the same? Really? Not even one question? We can do it. So when are you gonna take it again? This Friday?
It's Friday.
4 times? What are you worried about? It's okay.
That's not bad. $200 already?
Oh.
45?
45.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have some.
So what you do is you go to, the Facebook page,
So you're gonna work with.
right, and it's all the way down. It used to be up top,
Down
but
for now.
because he added all these
Oh,
videos.
my baby.
Oh, so it goes, it pushes
What you
it
got?
down.
Yeah.
Okay. But, so, I know, but, like, I want to have the opportunity to work at home. So,
You will. I mean, you're.
Where?
No, any work.
have to fight a bro.
yeah,
Any work, you don't have to stay in there in the office.
Yeah, I guess.
well, you have to go for like a couple hours.
No. You can work from.
That's all right, if you're going to, this is
Listen.
how you can go, stay home.
Listen.
Really?
Independent contractor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You go if you want to.
Yes.
You don't wanna go, you don't wanna go.
Yeah.
But if you go, you're gonna benefit from it, because they're gonna teach you how to prepare contract.
Yeah, that's what I want. Were you gonna work with, you don't know?
No, yeah. Cause I have to negotiate everything. No, it's a big.
Oh, you're gonna be all right. When you get into the. Oh, you have to pass.
What's going on here?
Thank you. Mire,
And just go all the way down.
What is that? Why?
Sorry, I
All
don't
the way
know.
down, todo para
As soon
abajo.
as you walk in, you can feel it super hot.
No, it's okay. I nunca hablé, I can't do la aula. Yeah, I can't have a life.
She's an assistant, she knows everything.
No, but he.
Pero ya, aquí, eso está.
Oh, you don't pass the test.
I will.
What happened?
I don't respond more anymore. That's it.
You guys making Friday steps online yet?
No, man, I'm not even on the group, man.
Yeah,
The only thing I'm,
This one has too much coffee. You should go on the Facebook group.
yeah,
It's easy.
I did like 10 questions last week, and I was nowhere near ready. I mean, I got them right, but like, I wasn't feeling it. I was like, no, so I feel like some of these questions are gonna get even harder. So I just stopped it, and I told him, I was like, I probably did like 10, 15 questions and stopped. Like I said, just practice, you're not gonna do it. But, after doing this, I already know it's chapter 14, 16, and 18 is what I have to do.
I started this morning, about like 14. With 14, I got 14 down.
Like all the ones I got wrong is 16, 17, 18. That's why I was asking him on Friday, like, yo, what? I got like 1 from 22. Wait, 22, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, check right now.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
Oh, you can do it.
I don't know if I got that one wrong, but
The score?
The score goes straight to him.
So
And then
if
he.
you don't pass your school test, he's not gonna let you go.
yeah, you get 2 chances. So like you also have a year to take the second one. So if you want, if you don't pass it Friday, you can come back. I don't think you don't have to come back to the class again.
But it's not gonna let you go.
Yeah, you're gonna be faster. But now that he's doing the videos on
Right,
live,
if we don't pass.
it's gonna be a lot easier. The last time I actually had to come back to school because he didn't have.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to come back, you can just watch.
Yeah.
2 times? I'm not sure.
What did you pay?
Take the state.
You have to pay here.
I didn't, I failed.
I don't know.
I won, I had a
Whole class,
74
like,
or something, and you needed a 75 to pass.
So you have to take the class.
No.
Well, no, I took the test again,
Oh.
but every time after that, I got worse and worse and worse, because I
How many
was
tests you have this
I
year?
was like super nervous.
And
And
then
it
you
wasn't, it wasn't the best $25 I used to be here, but I was
You know what?
out in,
I'm so mad.
it was ABS, I was out in.
Allá en la escuela,
Last year.
They gotta change his mind.
I just,
2 times, that's it.
He gotta change his mind.
He's already doing calculations. No, why after the second time you want to
Yeah,
check?
not that smart, the whole
whole
Last
property.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Each spot, each, school.
I was saying, like,
Some of them you have to pay for the card.
So did you have like?
It says, and the paper says $10 each tax.
I used to
It
sit
says
like,
on the paper.
I used to
And
sit
it
for
stays
it.
with the paper.
That's what it is.
See, I sat here, I sat over there.
Go out, you go there and say, hey.
I went, and then I was in discussion with Mama.
Did you buy the CD that you?
No, I already did.
Can't talk about it.
I know.
I know.
But I was
Yeah, but I
there, so.
It didn't work.
I never used
Yes,
I was,
this,
I was like, yeah.
I cannot talk about
When I was taking that class.
that one.
Now I got less.
Unfortunately.
Stress, less.
I didn't really care about it.
So,
Yeah, neither did I like.
yes,
And I always pass.
guys, can you open the door for, Anna? She got locked outside, please. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That question is, when you check, you let her know.
The first time.
Deja saber si la
The only time I got.
representación.
You're gonna have
Every
this
other time.
Facebook group.
I know him, and we were locked together. So we were like-
No, I will, okay, but you've seen the
They didn't-
Facebook, right? You guys
Yeah,
know
but
it.
you know how
Didn't want
she.
to do it.
No, but I already added them, so now you can see, anything I post, you guys receive notification of that post.
I guess this,
So what I'm going to do is go over it tomorrow, and I'll have one of help typing it out.
Look out,
We're gonna go over it, and I'll tell you what's right on that.
And you've been doing it with
But
your-
when I post it on the group, it has to be a little different. The same. Okay, I'm not gonna say much more than No, we'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah. And then that's what I was talking about. I used to, before you started doing it like this, I used to.
All right.
Finish the lesson.
Thank you, Bruno. It's not just me.
That's why we don't go outside. All right, guys, we're ready.
children,
Guys, enough. Children,
Children?
back to your spot. Thank you. The song is about can't let me out. She can't get in.
She said you like.
I did. Locked up.
She's like, no, there's.
All right, no more coffee?
That's okay.
When person leaves, the door closes downstairs.
I am.
All right, children, we're back. Phones away, conversations away. Let's focus. We still got a few questions to go.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So this is a math question.
Mhm.
A house sells for 102,000 and is appraised at 100,000 by the lender who's willing to make a 75% LTV ratio loan. How much down payment does this house require? Remember, the house sold for 102,000, but the lender is only lending at a 75% of loan to value ratio. What is the value of the house? 100,000, right? Because that's what it was appraised at.
Mhm.
100,000, right? They're willing to give 75% of the value.
Okay.
How much money does the buyer need to bring as down payment? Write it down. This one should be easy.
Oh, come on, Bruno.
What?
I'm prepared with all the things to do the math.
You can do it. That's what it's supposed to be. It's a math question. Go.
Mhm.
Do the math. Okay, good. Do the math. This one you can do on the top of your head. No need for calculators.
Really?
Ready?
Yeah.
25,000, 25,500, 27,000, or 75,000. Correct answer is
See.
C as in Charlie.
I did not know.
Well, the lender is saying we'll lend up to 75% of value. The value is 100,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's 75% of that?
25.
What's 75% of that?
Oh, 75.
75,000, right? So the lender will lend up to $75,000. What's the difference between these two? 25,000. But how much did the house sell for? 102. So that means that the buyer had to come up with an additional $2,000. So down payment required, 25,000.
Plus the two.
Because they sold for more than what the value was, they needed to come up with $2,000 difference.
I did 102 times 0.75.
But that's how much it's sold for. The lender, that's why I stopped to point it out. The lender is willing to give 75% of value. The house was appraised at 100,000.
Oh, okay.
So between appraisal and sales price is two different things. Okay? 70. Under the provisions of the ordinary store lease, trade fixtures that remain in the store after expiration of the lease become the property of the lessee, new tenant, lessor, or chattel mortgagee. 70.
One question. Let's see, it's the person in the lease.
Lessee is the tenant, lessor is the landlord.
Thank you.
I'm kind of. Why is that one different though? Oh, never mind. It's not there. No. Okay.
Think for yourselves, write down the answer, and then we explain. Okay? So, under the provisions of the ordinary store lease, so a regular traditional lease, trade fixtures that remain in the store after the expiration of the lease become property of the lessor, the landlord. So the answer is C. Think about it. Yeah? But think about it. The lease expires tonight, and I still have everything here. Once those doors lock at midnight, if the lease expired, do I have any way to get back in? No, the landlord can change the locks, and anything that's inside belongs to the landlord.
That sucks.
It's part of the deal. Simple. Now, 71. You have that in chapter 5, and you have that in chapter 12 as well.
Chapter.
5 addresses fixtures at the end, trade fixtures, which is business stuff. And then in leases, in chapter 12, we talk about it again. Okay? 71, a listing that obligates the broker to distribute the listing to other brokers is open listing, option, multiple listing, or friendly listing. I think it's D. 71, write it down,
So too.
right? If it's obligated, it's definitely not friendly. A listing that obligates the broker to distribute the listing to other brokers is an open listing, an option, multiple listing, or friendly listing. Write it down.
And then-
71, the correct answer is C.
Oh, wow.
How is it A?
Hey, because it's.
How is it,
open
wait, listen to me. What is an open listing? Is where the seller knocks on several doors with several agents, but no agencies, but no obligation to any. Here it's saying the broker. That means one broker. If it's one broker, it can only be an exclusive agency or exclusive right to sell. One broker. Now, do we have that option here?
No.
Exclusive agency or exclusive right to sell? No. But with an exclusive agency or exclusive right to sell, the one broker is obligated to share with other brokers in the multiple listing arrangement, word per word in chapter 10.
I'm thinking about the.
Okay? Multiple listing service, that's where we advertise to other brokerages. Okay? Open listing, bunch of brokers, no real commitment, not one broker. So the key words here was the broker, so there's one only. Okay? This is the importance of breaking it down.
Can you go with me and read?
No. I had lunch today with a guy that a couple of years ago said, Bruno, he pulls out his driver's license. It was like, I don't think anybody could tell the difference.
Yeah.
He wanted to pay me to go take the exam for him and take his driver's license as an ID. Sure. Anyway, 72, a void contract is one that is not in writing, rescindable by agreement, missing an essential element, or D, executory. A void contract, void, not valid, contract, is not in writing, is rescindable or cancelable by agreement, missing an essential element to valid contracts, or executory. Write down the answer. Haitian sensation, what's the answer?
See?
C, missing an essential element.
Why?
Because if you miss something, because then now
You can have a
Listen.
verbal contract.
What are the 4 essential elements of a valid contract? Competent party, so 18 years of age or older. Consideration, so exchange of value. Legal purpose. And mutual agreement, so offer and acceptance. If any of these essential is missing, then automatically it's a void or not valid contract. Automatically. Rescindable by agreement.
I don't know if that word.
As I read, I said cancel.
It kind of made sense.
As I read it,
I don't know if it's essential.
can you listen to me? As I read rescindable, I also said cancelable, that you can cancel. I'm translating the words for you into other potential words so you guys understand what the question is asking. Rescindable is cancelable, right? Something that we can cancel. We can have a valid contract, 100% valid, 100% enforceable. If both of us agree to cancel, we cancel. Rescindable by agreement, right? So it's not a void contract. To be void, that means something is wrong with it. What is wrong? One of the essential elements is missing. So you got to know the 4 essential elements, okay? Why couldn't it be A? Just
Because you can have a verbal.
because you can have an oral or verbal agreement. Absolutely. So that's what would disqualify A. What does executory mean? We have executory and we have executed. What does executory mean?
Not close.
Not closed, not finished. Executory is pending. Very good. Pending. Once we get to a closing, it's executed, it's done. Rashad, that's chapter 11, contracts. It's on 3rd page of the contract chapter.
That question is.
I'm pretty sure contracts is. There's 14 questions about contracts.
14?
Oh, my
Yes.
God.
And I get 12 good.
See?
So you got this, Jack.
No. 2 points.
All right. Yes, question 72 is contracts. You're welcome. 73, if there's an incident of discrimination, so if discrimination occurs, that's what it means, right? If it happens, the complainant has to prove that the act was intentional, that the offense was repeated, that discrimination occurred, or that the act caused a loss. Write it down. If discrimination happens, the person complaining about discrimination, or felt discrimination again, has to prove what? That the act was intentional, like you did it on purpose, that the offense was repeated, this is not the first time it happens, that discrimination occurred, hey, this happened, or that I suffered a loss from your action when you discriminate against me?
Hmm.
Mhm. Write it down. Write it down. Correct answer is
See?
C as in Charlie.
Yes.
Discrimination occurred. All right? And that's it. I don't have to prove anything else. How it occurred, why it occurred. Don't even have to prove that I had a loss, because the only loss that I had was psychological for now. But it could affect everything else, so it'd be a bigger loss. But that will be up to a court to determine if I was affected in a bigger scale. B, the offense was repeated. No, the first time I felt it, that's it. You know? Like, for instance, when Kelly went, you speak Spanish, that's discriminatory. I could have sued you right now.
Yeah, I can see you too.
Why?
Because always it's like, oh,
You're always picking on them.
yeah, thank you.
Marlene, you're fired for tomorrow. So anybody wants to fill in the shoes?
I can be fired, like, true.
I did for
It's
tomorrow.
okay, he's going vacation, he forgets it's gonna be paid with him.
Go ahead, deal with him.
He's nice.
He is nice. I am nicer. Now, 74.
Be nicer, it's true.
See?
Yo le bruto.
An option, listen to me, an option is a contract that requires the buyer to complete the purchase, keeps an offer open for a specified time, gives the buyer an easement on the property, or allows the buyer to occupy the property. 74. An option is a contract that requires the buyer to complete the purchase, keeps an offer open for a specified time, gives the buyer an easement on the property, or allows the buyer to occupy the property. Write it down. You guys ready?
Okay, yeah.
And the correct answer is
B.
B as in boy. A could not be, because if it's an option, then how are you required to do something? It's optional. That make sense? C gives you an easement. Easement is when you own a property next to another property, for instance, right? Or you have a right onto somebody else's property. So no. D allows the buyer to occupy the property. Maybe. Maybe not. It's not guaranteed. Okay? So option agreements, this is on chapter 11, this is the very last page of contracts. We talk about option agreements and we talk about installment sales contract or land contracts. It's the last two things on chapter 11. An option is like your rent to own or lease with the option to buy. The buyer has the option, the seller has the obligation. Seller must sell, but he becomes the landlord for 2 years, for instance, right? Specified period of time. At the end of the 2 years, the buyer, which is the tenant during the 2 years, has the option to take action and buy, just like your car. If you lease a car, you drive it around, you test drive it for 3 years. You like it, you buy it. You don't like it, give it up or trade it. Simple. Option agreements are similar to car leases. Good?
Yeah.
All right. 75. In the cost approach, talked about these approaches several times already, right? In the cost approach, the appraiser makes use of the owner's cost of the original building, estimate of the replacement cost of the building, sales price of similar buildings, or depreciated value used for income tax purposes. In the cost approach, that's where we're trying to figure out the value of this building. In the cost approach, The appraiser makes use of the owner's cost of the original building, estimate of the replacement cost of the building, sales price of similar buildings, or depreciated value used for income tax purposes. And the correct answer is B as in boy, replacement cost. The cost approach, listen, guys, the cost approach is how much it costs to replace or reproduce a building exactly like this one. It's where we have no income, so income doesn't matter. It's where we have not enough sales, so C could never be, because there's not enough sales to compare this building to. Cost approach is only used when there's no building to compare and no income on properties. Okay? This is 16 appraisals. There's an income approach, sales comparison approach, and cost approach. Okay? 76. A lease that requires the lessee to pay taxes, operating expenses, and the insurance. So a lease that requires the lessee, the tenant, to pay taxes, operating expenses, and insurance is called A, gross lease, net lease, percentage lease, or recorded lease. Write it down.
We had that question.
Write it down.
How long is
Write it down, please. A lease that requires the tenant to pay taxes, operating expenses, and insurance is called gross lease, net lease, percentage lease, or recorded lease. Correct answer is
A.
B.
D.
net lease. B, triple net. Here's what it is. For those of you that answered A, a gross lease is usually residential. It's where you pay $1,500 for the rent, and the landlord deals with taxes, insurance, and the cost of maintenance. A net lease is where you pay $1,000, as an example, but you deal with the taxes, operating costs or maintenance, and insurance, just like businesses. We pay an X amount for the lease, but we're responsible for a portion. We divide everything with the building of how many units we have here for a portion of taxes, maintenance, and insurance. That's a net lease. A percentage lease, so C, is mainly for shopping plazas, retail. Because the shopping plaza wants a percentage of the business, whatever the business is making. You got it?
Mhm.
So net lease, you have a flat fee plus the taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Okay? Good? All right. And recorded lease, any of these leases could be recorded. 77. The tenant with a month-to-month tenancy must give the landlord how much notice of intention to vacate. The tenant with a month-to-month tenancy must give the landlord how much notice of intention to vacate, meaning I'm out, I'm going to leave. 1 week, 2 months, 1 month, or no notice. Write it down. 77. State exam, don't speak. State exam, don't speak. You cannot say in the middle of the state exam, you cannot go, hey, I'm confused, proctor, come here, please.
Why not?
Write it down. I'll address it in a second. Do it to the best of your knowledge. If you're confused, great, just answer. Answer. So, a tenant that's on the month-to-month, that means you pay every month and you keep going, right? Must give the landlord how much notice of intention to vacate, meaning leave the premises. I've been here for 10 years, paying month to month. Now I'm gonna tell my landlord, hey, I'm leaving. How much time must I give the landlord for me to leave? Is it 1 week, 2 months, 1 month, or do I have to say anything at all?
See.
Correct answer is
1 month.
C as in Charlie, 1 month, yes. What if it said 30 days? Would that be correct? No, because some months have 31, some months have 28 or 29. So it's always 1 month, okay? No,
Yeah.
that's chapter 12.
Page.
Terrible. When recorded in the county where real property of the defendant is located, a judgment becomes A, voluntary lien, B, attachment lien, C, involuntary lien, or D, equitable lien. Write it down. When recorded in the county where the real property of the defendant is located, a judgment becomes, here's what I want to say. Forget everything that's written. It's a judgment. Who asks for it? Did anybody say, hey, sue me? Put a judgment against me?
What is equitable?
It does not matter. I just gave you the answer.
Yeah.
Did you ask for the judgment?
You got me confused.
That's all you've been saying.
Judgment.
I know the
They're even
answer.
in there right now?
My answer is C.
See,
Okay.
no. See, equitable means you have monetary interest in the property.
You can earn it.
If I'm none of the end. The thing you need to remember is what things mean. When I was teaching about voluntary or involuntary, voluntary is something you want to do. Involuntary is something you don't want. Who asks for judgments? Nobody. So the correct answer immediately would be C. Nobody asks for it. That means you got sued, somebody won, and now they have a judgment against you.
When I read it, it sounded like a lien on the property.
It is a lien on the property.
Yeah, I know it's involuntary, but when it's the attachment, I thought it was attachment to the real property.
Attachment liens don't exist.
I know it doesn't.
Simple. Rashad, what is an attached lien?
So the
It
trick,
does not exist, Rashad.
If you don't know it, then you buy
If you don't know, don't worry about
the
it.
trick is judgment is involuntary.
That's it. Just like race and color is what? 1866.
Yeah, voluntary lien, it's a mortgage.
Mortgage, for instance. Something you asked for.
Mhm.
79. Zoning ordinances are usually established by the federal government, local authorities, state of New Jersey, always, or court order. Zoning ordinances are usually established by federal government, local authorities, state of New Jersey, or court order. Write it down. See, it doesn't, just wait a little bit and that's it.
You think I can write that? Try.
Write it down. Who places zoning ordinances?
I don't know.
I know. It's easy.
Yeah.
Correct answer is
B.
local authorities. B. The state does not put any zoning ordinance. The county does not put any zoning ordinance. The federal government does not get involved in New Jersey. Right? And the judge, definitely not. So local authorities, the city of Newark puts the maximum or minimum lot sizes. City of Newark says, here's where industrial will be, here's where commercial will be, here's where residential will be. It's local. Okay? That is chapter 9.
I'm thinking too much.
Before she asks about the page.
So I have the answer, just I have to go back to the other questions and I think too much about the other questions.
Sometimes, that's the problem too. Okay.
Melanie.
Hmm?
Melanie.
All right, 80. John Borek sold Andrew Maloney an acre of land. Okay, 4 squirrels. But reserved the right to cross Melanie's acre, or Maloney's acre, to reach the public road. Maloney's new property is called the dominant tenement, servient tenement, homestead, or leasehold. Write down the answer. John sold Andrew an acre of land, but reserved the right to cross through Andrew's property to reach the public road. If I have the right to go through other people's property, what is it called? Dominant, servient, homestead, or leasehold? Dominant, servient, homestead, or leasehold? Correct answer is
B.
B as in boy. Very good.
I remember you saying servient. You serving somebody,
Hey, whatever works.
right?
I'm telling you, my jokes could be corny, but it works. I admit, some of them I'm even like, huh.
What did I just say?
As they're coming out, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but you have to find another one for the first score.
Why? They work.
Not
That's
for
how I
me.
get.
See?
I just get the four scrolls.
What about the
That's
rest?
right. The rest. I know it's 35,
Okay.
60, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. See?
4 squirrels, they're going down Route 35 because they're going to the beach, right? And they're at 60 miles an hour to keep under the radar. Imagine police stopping the squirrels.
Imagine.
She just pictured.
It's like, imagine.
All right, 81. If a broker's license is suspended, this is guaranteed question or your money back.
Yes.
If a broker's license is suspended, she goes like, yep.
I
this
know
one,
that's
this one.
right.
The licenses of his or her salesperson are also suspended automatically, not affected, suspended for any salesperson who was aware of the offense at the time, or allowed to continue for a 6-month temporary period. Write it down.
Yeah.
If a broker's license is suspended, what happens to his salespeople, his licensees? '81. The correct answer is
Hey.
A.
It is.
Automatically suspended, everybody, because who's your sponsoring broker?
Nobody
The
knows.
broker. And if the broker's license is suspended, are you sponsored?
Okay, but you say if the broker dies,
No.
if the broker dies,
That's
Suspended.
you have,
Suspended. Does it say die?
no, but. it's-
When you die, you're not suspended. You're not here.
Deceased.
You're deceased. Here is suspended
Everybody's gonna be suspended.
because there is no new broker right now.
Okay, I'm gonna kill him.
But then your license is gonna be suspended. if you
Okay,
kill
but if I kill him, I have 6 months, right?
No,
1 year,
no,
but that was a
1
good
year.
one. You'll go to jail because we'll know about it.
Better edit
I
this.
hope I don't get the book.
Pedro, here's what just happened. A death threat.
Hey, at least I have a year to have my license.
And
Imagine,
then go to jail.
I came to school for 2 months, right? I did 2 classes. And it's like, I take my license, and then it's like, suspend the license, I have to kill him.
The question is, why was his license? Okay, so let's address that real quick.
I have to kill him.
Why was the broker's, or why could the broker's license be suspended?
Wait,
What was that?
the
You raised
question?
Why? Give me reasons why the broker's license could be
This is the
suspended,
right job.
because that will be a question as well.
Only if he knows.
Commingling, if he knows about it, if he's guilty, right?
Yeah, if somebody's doing something that he's not supposed to do and he's just covering and he knows about it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you say.
Guilty knowledge.
Good knowledge, here you go, that's the one.
So if the broker knows about it or was part of it, and knowing about it is being part of it, then the brokers get suspended. And if the broker is suspended, there's no sponsor. If there's no sponsor,
That's not right, Bruno.
listen to me.
What I'm gonna do if my license is suspended?
Don't you get 30 days?
I have to get
You
another
move.
broker?
You move to another brokerage.
Yes,
Oh, okay, just for one day or two.
Yes, I was
I
gonna
think
say that.
mine's gonna be suspended.
She doesn't let me speak ever.
She's gonna commit murder when she could have just moved somewhere else.
That's what I was trying to say. That's why I went to explain it, because we don't have to kill anybody just because our license got suspended.
It's suspended, it's just held for a period of time. It's not like.
You can move along,
Well, and she has a purchase,
move on.
if she has a buyer and she's going for the
Imagine, it's
transaction.
my first deal, and people do that. It's like my license is canceled. Imagine, I have to kill somebody.
You cannot say that live.
I don't care.
She said it like 10 times.
Right?
She's worse than your mother. Talking about the drugs. You guys remember that?
For the shingles?
Yeah.
And
With
the-
shingles, yeah.
the coke.
All right, so Rashad just wrote ornery. You guys remember that word?
Yeah, ornery.
Oh, honorary.
She doesn't get it.
82, a broker salesperson. A broker salesperson must maintain a separate escrow account, meet all broker qualifications, use only designation salesperson on business card, or obtain a branch office license. A broker salesperson must maintain a separate escrow account, meet all broker qualifications, use only the designation of salesperson on the business card, or obtain a branch office license. Write it down. This should be simple.
No.
82. The correct answer is B as in boy, meet all broker qualifications. Good. 83. In New Jersey, an oral listing agreement is never legally enforceable. Is enforceable if it is for less than 1 year. Must be confirmed in writing within 5 days, or is the most commonly used form of listing. 83. In New Jersey, an oral listing agreement saying, I'm putting your listing on today. We didn't write anything down.
Mhm.
Is not enforceable in New Jersey. Is enforceable in New Jersey if it's for less than 1 year. Must be confirmed in writing within 5 days, or is commonly used form of listing in Jersey. Write it down. And the correct answer is
See?
C as in Charlie. Very good. If we have a verbal agreement, we got 5 days to put it in writing.
You should not do that.
Chapter 10. You should never do it, but if you do, because you're that desperate to get the listing, all right, some people do it. If you're that desperate to get the listing, you have 5 days to put it in writing. 84. In New Jersey, a licensed broker must have $50,000 bond, separate escrow bank account, college degree, or all of the above. Write it down. In New Jersey, a licensed broker must have $50,000 bond, separate escrow bank account, college degree, or all of the above. And the correct answer for 84 is B, separate escrow account or trust account. Very good. Did everybody get B?
Mhm.
Okay. Yep, go.
I think I know the answer, but I just want so he has to have an escrow bank account for every person that he has a listing with, or just one?
Just one account, but he has to keep careful books.
Yeah.
So as to know to which one does the money belong. Verbatim. Okay? That's chapter 2. All right, so on the second page of chapter 2, you have trust or escrow account. I told you guys to write OPM, other people's money. And then right at the end of that paragraph, it says you don't have to keep separate accounts. Only one, careful books to know who it belongs to. 85, a salesperson or broker may have to start all over again with classes and examination if a license is not renewed for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. 85, write down your answer. You might have to do everything all over again. Come to 75 hours of classroom again. Endure all the corny jokes again. And do the exams. And pay for fees. If you did not renew for 1 year,
It's okay.
2 years, 3 years, or 4 years.
Why
It's
people
my
don't-
third class.
Correct answer is B, 2 years. Because every 2 years, we must renew our license, right?
Mhm.
If you do not renew, odd number of years, right? If you do not renew, then you lose your license.
It's a lot of people losing the license.
Oh, yeah.
This year, yes.
Why, Bruno? It's expensive to renew? Or they
Um,
don't care?
I'll put it like this, statistically, nationwide, not Jersey, but statistically, 90% of salespeople, real estate salespeople, do not sell a single house. Meaning 90% of people don't do anything with their license. So a lot of them just give up at one point. Others, they were really good when things were going up, because anybody can sell when things are going up,
Mhm.
right? And then when market crashes, they just give up. And now they come back. See, the problem is, what you need to understand is that the renewal of the license is $100 every 2 years, plus CE credits, $100 as well, more or less, every 2 years. You might have some fees every year if you're part of the National Association of Realtors. That's another $500 every year. For $1,200 more or less, and let's make it $1,500 every 2 years. That's what you're going to spend.
It's nothing.
You're going to lose your license?
No,
One referral pays the whole 2 years. Referral, I'm not even talking about a whole deal.
or if you
Talking about
sell 2
referral.
years.
If you do a rental, it could help you pay for 2 years. Yes,
You're talking about, damn it, I forgot to mention.
sorry, that's chapter 1, by the way.
No, I know. Which one?
This one is chapter 1.
What did you just talk about? No.
It's the page before last, chapter 1.
If somebody's, the broker is from the association, right? The salesperson needs to pay $500.
If your broker is part of the National Association of
I know
Realtors, you
that.
must be as well.
Yeah, so you have to pay.
The yearly fee, yep.
It's yearly, so
It's a membership
$500.
fee, yep.
So if I become a
Salesperson,
salesperson right now, activate my license with a broker that has a
that's part of it. You have to pay as well to be part of it.
right away.
If you want to have access to MLSs and have access to all the benefits, yes.
I don't know.
If not, you just activate your license as a referral. If you're not ready, activate as a referral and then move along when you're ready.
There's any mandatory thing that you have to do right away, or you have a deadline?
If you don't have the money to start,
Your broker
They
pays for
take you
you.
from the.
your broker pays for you,
No, they take you from the first deal.
It depends on the brokerages. Every brokerage is different.
How's it, Pedro?
Yeah, ask Pedro, he's gonna pay
All
for
right,
you.
so 86. Since we're not talking about a specific brokerage, and this is a school, not an agency, we cannot talk about specific brokerages.
Sorry.
So moving along, every brokerage has their own rules and regulations. Some will pay for you, as you said, but then they take it out in so many fees, just putting it out there, they take out in so many fees that your effective commission drops by 20%.
Wow.
Some of them offers 100% commission. If you have no experience, go ahead, go to 100% brokerage and you see what's gonna happen. There's only one reason they're 100%, is because there's monthly fees, most likely, or they deduct technology, the fee's yours, but then to use their technology, to make copies, to do everything, you pay.
Yeah.
So they don't take it in the commission, they take it in services. So there's no company that survives on 100% commission. Remember this. 90% commission is tough already. 80%, maybe. But most of these big companies out there, they're great for you if you're aggressive. Because even if they do 70% commission, they just take 6% towards franchise fees. Some of them 10% towards franchise fees. So that means that your real commission is 60%, right? Then if there's other fees, your real commission is 50-something%. So you're not at 70, you're way below that. So all I'm trying to say, without attacking any particular brokerage out there, not even ours, what I'm trying to say is compare. Don't just dive into a brokerage. I said this in day one. Don't dive into a brokerage. Go and see other brokerages out there, okay? Make sure you're making the right choice for you, what's best for you, not based on where you feel that you should be in, okay? Especially when there's like friendships and all that stuff, that's the worst thing. Friendships and family, oh, I have to go here because, no, don't do that. Always do what's best for you. Analyze other agencies, and if you like it there, just go. Simple. Nobody should, get you stuck to something because you're going, oh, if I don't go, then they're going to feel bad.
Yeah, but you have to be somebody who can teach you, because the most.
That's the most important thing, mentorship.
Yes, because the
Alright.
most you see over there, it's like the people put the license there and they don't have, it's like you broke it, oh no, it's like they don't teach anything there.
Some brokerages are like that, and I cannot vouch for any brokerage right now, but I can tell you.
Not to tell you specifically.
No. Now we need to move forward to make sure we get to the end, but do shop around. That's all I gotta say. Go window shopping, figure out what they have to offer, compare, and make an educated decision based on your mind and not on your heart. Okay, that's very important, because that's what you have to teach your buyers too. Don't buy a house based on emotion. Okay, buy based on logic. Next, and the sellers as well. Don't sell based on emotion. 86. New Jersey laws allows a landlord to refuse to rent to anyone on welfare, people with children, people with dogs, or any the above. New Jersey law allows a landlord to refuse to rent to. This should be easy. 86. Correct answer is
See,
C, as in Charlie, people with dogs. I can say no pets. You're telling me that I can say no welfare, no Section 8?
No children?
You're telling me I can say no children? People with dogs. I can say no pets unless they're a guide or service dog. Remember that, because that could be a question. The exemption is guide or service dog.
You can get in trouble, right?
Just saying.
Or no? You can get in trouble.
no, it's not the pet.
Just saying.
I know the exam inside out.
But the landlord, can the landlord get in trouble?
Service
Of course, it's discrimination.
Hey,
That's why it says New Jersey allows to refuse to what? Pets. That's it.
Because you'll be allergic.
87. I don't have to have a reason.
I'm just saying.
I just say no pets. Simple. Which type of listing is illegal in New Jersey? Guys, which type of listing is illegal in New Jersey? Open listing, net listing, exclusive right to sell listing, or exclusive agency listing. Write it down. This is easy. Which one is illegal in New Jersey? 87. Correct answer is
B.
B. Net listing is illegal in New Jersey.
Mhm.
You just said right.
88. Every listing must include the broker's home phone number, square foot measurement of the property, notice that commissions are negotiable, or the broker's promise to advertise the property. 88. Every listing must include the broker's home phone number, square foot measurement of the property, notice that commissions are negotiable, or broker's promise to advertise the property. This one should be easy too. Correct answer is
B.
C as in Charlie. Commissions are negotiable. All right, this is,
Technically, square foot or dollar.
it's not a requirement,
Most listings are not even.
not required. If that was the requirement, then we could sue so many agents right now and agencies. And we would be the only agency out there.
And you'll be sued all over the place.
Yeah. All right. Remember, commissions are negotiable. Every listing agreement must state, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, be aware that commissions are negotiable. There's no standards in New Jersey. Okay? You have that on chapter 2, and then chapter 11 in listings. At the beginning and the end of chapter 11, with chapter 10, I'm sorry, we talk about that. '89. In New Jersey, a landlord may not refuse a tenant solely because of political affiliation, children in the family, prison record, or pets. In New Jersey, the people at home got lost because we're stuck on 87, we're already 89. So, in New Jersey, a landlord may not, they cannot say no to a tenant because of political affiliation, children in the family, prison record, or pets. We just went over this one. It's very similar. 89. The correct answer is
B. C. No, D. Sorry. B.
B as in boy.
B.
Children. Pay attention, children.
It's the way that the question.
I cannot refuse.
Right.
The previous one is where can I refuse?
That's right, that's right.
So the previous one would be pets. I can refuse pets. Here is I cannot refuse. Can I refuse pets?
Yeah.
Yes. Can I refuse people with prison record?
Yes.
Danger to society? Absolutely. Can I refuse people because, oh, you're a Democrat or a Republican?
Yes.
It's not discrimination at all. I just want to deal with you guys. Right? If you have any political affiliation, I don't care. Get out. Right? But I cannot say no. I may not refuse. I cannot say no to people with children. Didn't we go over that in the previous one?
Yeah.
They're just asking in a different way.
Yeah.
And sometimes the answer for 3 is question number 85. All right? 90. In New Jersey, continuous, open, notorious, hostile, and exclusive occupation of another's real property or somebody else's real property may lead to acquisition through adverse possession after a period of 3 years, 6 years, 10 years, or 20 years. Adverse possession in New Jersey. Write it down. Squatter's rights. In New Jersey, we're 90. Adverse possession. The answer is D, 20 years. If you want to legally steal somebody else's property,
Old lady.
you have to,
To do for
the old lady
20
with the
years.
flowers, you have to do it continuously for 20 years. It must be visible, open, and notorious, adverse to the owner's title, without the owner's permission.
You put the flowers after they.
I'll be the old lady from that.
I wouldn't be surprised. 91.
Damn, Bruno.
Damn, Yasmin. After the 75-hour course is successfully completed, the license application must be made within 30 days, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. You complete the course. You pass the school exam, you get a certificate from the school. How long do you have to apply or activate your license? Correct answer is C, 1 year.
I think we all know that.
Well,
So, right?
hope so. Because if you don't, I'm going to be bothering you. Hey, it's been 363 days. What's going on? 364 days. What's going on? I literally had one person drive down to Trenton to deliver the last day off. So he had a whole year to activate the license. He goes, Bruno, I forgot. I'm like, listen, the only way for you to get this now without having to do everything again is drive down to Trenton. He did. It was a holiday,
It's close.
closed. So he had to go on Monday, and they were really nice. I told them who to talk to and everything. They helped them out. But a whole year, guys. Huh?
No proof.
That's it. Save the day. All right. No, she's not a Portuguese. That was good. All right.
Ai, tu queres as duas pernas partidas?
The salesperson's license examination, the salesperson license examination can be taken only by anyone who walks in, any enrollee in pre-licensing course, anyone who has successfully completed the course, or someone who has a sponsoring broker. 92, the salesperson license examination
Okay.
can be taken only by, write it down, please, anyone who walks in, anyone enrolled in the pre-licensing course, anyone who successfully completed the course, or someone who has a sponsoring broker. Write down the answer. We lost Rashad about 7 questions ago.
Yeah,
You went to eat.
yesterday.
Or he's gonna come up with Brian's excuse. Did you block the chat?
I'm dead ass, like, I just saw it and it said disabled.
What's you?
No, he's disabled.
Yeah.
All right,
Sí.
Sí.
correct answer is C. Someone who successfully completed the course. Very good. 93. Unless the experience requirement is waived, the applicant for a broker's license must have served a full-time apprenticeship as a licensed salesperson for at least 6 months,
Oh, come on, bro.
1 year,
Nope.
18 months, 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Correct answer is 3 years. D. Well, these ones are easy. Yeah.
That's why we're going
That's
at it.
You sure that one's gonna be in the state?
Guaranteed or your money back.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, guys. What I'm trying to prove here with some of these is that 80% of the exam is easy.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the tough things, when you get to the easy ones, your mind is like all over the place. What did I say?
Anything over 3 lines.
Over 3 lines, skip.
Skip.
Address the easy ones. If you're thinking too much, and look at the amount of time I'm giving you per question. If you're thinking too much, skip it. It doesn't matter if you stop. It doesn't matter if you skip 100 questions, right? At least you answered 10. Then you go back. You skipped 80 questions, at least you answered another 20. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But keep on doing this on the ones that you're sure. And I guarantee you, within the first hour, you answered 80% of the exam. Okay, within 1 hour. Then you have 3 hours to answer 20% of the exam. Okay, which is the tough ones, which is the ones where, all right, let me breathe. I got plenty of time now, no pressure, I got this. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, 94. Records of all contracts of sale and listing agreements, you should know this too, must be kept by a broker for at least 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years. Write down. Write down. Write down.
Got it.
Write down.
6 years, Bruno.
I don't have pink slippers to throw you.
That's why you need pink slippers.
Yes. Correct answer is C, 6 years. 95. Have you noticed that we're going faster in this last hour?
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
Yes? All right, so the real estate commission is composed of how many members?
Oh,
3, 5, 8, or 10 members? Write it down. Real estate commission is composed of how many members? Correct answer is?
C.
C, 8 members. Imagine these are your first questions, and you're just knocking them out. You're too much.
What? We got 14 questions.
How many?
14.
14 to go.
1 minute to try.
Educational requirements for a broker's license can be waived. Educational, that means a school time, not experience, school time, can be waived for certain brokers licensed in other states, spouses of recently deceased brokers, salespersons with 10 years of full-time experience, or college graduates who hold a doctorate. 96. Educational requirements. Who does not need to take the school period of time or partial period of time?
No, it's easy.
Okay, write it down. We don't have Ryan in the back going like, tears. I seriously thought he was gonna pull something one of these days, because the way he raises his hand. 96, the correct answer is A. Brokers licensed in another state, because they have experience, they might not have to do all the hours, or any, depending on what New Jersey Real Estate Commission allows. Why would you say C, 10 years? Where did that come from?
I don't know, because it's a.
She didn't say it, but I heard it. It's-
Yes. It's a educational requirement, so I was guessing that the salesperson,
With 10
Alright.
years?
yeah, they have the experience, they have the full time, they passed already the 3 years to get the requirement for a broker's license, so.
She learned from you because she's your student and she's your assistant,
You're my student, and look,
but I'm not your assistant.
she's not either, she got fired. New Jersey real estate salesperson,
You?
97.
I quit before he even
A few
tried
times.
this.
I just hired Marlene as my assistant for tomorrow.
No problem.
New Jersey,
That's good to know, right?
Right, good to know.
New Jersey real estate salesperson must be a citizen of the United States, at least 21 years old, college graduates, or sponsored by a supervising broker. 97, New Jersey real estate salesperson must be a U.S. citizen, at least 21 years of age, college degree, or sponsored by a supervising broker. Write down the answer.
It's A, B, C.
And I gotta give an opportunity for the ones at home with a lag.
They don't need to because they have the open book.
They're not the open book.
Be there for you to see.
Oh, Rashad is back. Hey, Rashad, we missed you for like 10 questions.
That's good.
11. How was the food, Rashad? All right, so the answer is D. Must be sponsored, very important. '98. The guarantee fund is used to pay a broker commission unlawfully withheld by the seller, protect the salesperson if a broker refuses to split a commission as previously agreed, reimburse the public for losses arising from licensee's wrongdoing, or compensate buyers who have suffered from unlawful discrimination. Write down the answer. The guarantee fund is used for what? To pay the broker because the seller did not pay? To protect the salesperson if a broker refuses to split commission? To reimburse the public for losses arising from the licensee's wrongdoing? Or to compensate buyers who have suffered from discrimination? Correct answer is?
C.
C. Very good.
See, I know everything about brokers.
So you can take the broker's exam? All right. A broker could lose his or her license for sharing commission with another broker salesperson, a broker in another state, a former salesperson who listed the house while in that broker's employ, or another New Jersey broker. It says a broker could lose his or her license for sharing commission with who? Another broker's salesperson, a broker in another state, a former salesperson who listed the house while in the broker's employ, or while employed by the broker, right? Or another New Jersey broker. 99, write it down, please. Correct answer is A.
Yeah.
You could lose your license if you pay another salesperson directly. One that is not employed by you, is employed by another broker.
I didn't read that one.
We can pay, right? We can, We can
No.
split commission with a broker in another state, from broker to broker.
Let's say another broker,
Hold on.
salesperson.
Hold on. Listen to me. We can pay, I'm a broker, I can pay another broker in another state. I can pay a salesperson that's no longer with me because they had something pending while they worked for me,
Okay,
right? So that's what I call the prenup clause in your agreement. If you leave the office and there's sales pending, they're your commission. You get 15%, for instance,
mhm,
25%, for instance, because they started while you were working for me, okay? Or another New Jersey broker. I can always split commission with other brokers. So B or D would not cause me to lose the license. And C is, hey, didn't work out, fine, you have pending deals, I'll still pay you something for those deals.
okay.
No problem. What I cannot do is I'm the broker for Remax. What I cannot do is I'm the broker for Remax, and I take money out of my pockets to pay Weikert's salesperson. Another broker's salesperson.
I mean,
It doesn't say broker dash salesperson,
it's another broker salesperson.
another broker's
Yeah,
salesperson.
okay.
You're Remax and you're paying a Century 21 salesperson.
Mhm.
That is incorrect. You have to pay the Century 21 broker, and he pays that salesperson. Yes,
So B is almost like, referral.
it's a referral. D is a referral as well. Or a split commission.
Yeah.
Depending on what we do. You guys got it?
Yes.
Good? All right. 100, with certain restrictions. A commission may be shared with an unlicensed person in the form of rebates to who? The seller, the buyer, broker's assistant, or the office secretary. With certain restrictions, a commission may be shared with an unlicensed person in the form of rebates to who? The seller, the buyer, the broker's assistant, or office secretary. Who can we give money to? Write down the answer. And the correct answer is B as in boy. Any type of rebate or credit or sharing commissions with unlicensed people can only be to buyers. Buyers only. Yes, that's in chapter 1. It talks about it, the rebates, right? I'm sorry, chapter 2, rebates to a buyer only. It's mentioned twice in chapter 2. We cannot give money to unlicensed people at all, but there's an exception in 2010 that allows a broker to give a credit or a check, guys, a credit or a check at closing, guys, credit or a check at closing to a buyer only. Nobody else can get paid if they're unlicensed. These two, they can only get paid salary. The seller can never collect any money other than what it's due to him or her. The buyer, we can credit the buyer. Got it?
Mhm.
We can help the buyer. Sometimes a reason could be they don't have all the money to close. They're missing $1,000. You know what? Take it from my commission. Simple. Okay? 101. We're almost done. When a new building is considered safe for human habitation, a building inspector can issue a certificate of occupancy, a restrictive covenant, a special use permit, or building permit. Another guaranteed question.
Okay.
For the building to be okay and safe to occupy, correct answer is A, certificate of occupancy. That was easy. CO, right? 102. This you got to know, because in case you guys screw up, you're going to have to pay it. The largest fine that may be charged as penalty for violation of New Jersey license law is $500, $5,000, $10,000, or $50,000. Write it down. The largest fine that you'll pay. Correct answer is
D.
D as in David, $50,000. 103. New Jersey Real Estate Commission is part of Department of Banking and Insurance, Attorney General's Office, Education Department, or Secretary of State's Office. Write it down. Right? Good job, Anna. New Jersey Department of Banking and Insurance, New Jersey Attorney General's Office, New Jersey Education Department, or New Jersey Secretary of State. The Real Estate Commission is part of. Correct answer is A.
Yeah, I got it.
Department of Banking and Insurance. Education Department, that would be my part, because I'm educated. But no, Real Estate Commission is under Department of Banking and Insurance. That will be chapter 1, yes. Very first page. The very first page of chapter 1 talks about that. 104. Which of the following needs a real estate license when involved in handling a real estate transaction? Pay attention to this one because there's a similar question in the state. When do you need your real estate license? If you're an executor, if you're a bank, a developer selling homes in their subdivision, or an auctioneer. 104, write it down. When do you need a real estate license? If you're an executor, if you're a bank, if you're a developer selling homes in a subdivision, or an auctioneer. Sorry? Executor? What is an executor?
It's Bruno.
No. What is it?
Like a boss.
No.
It's people
Someone
words.
takes, like if you have a will, the guy.
If you have a will.
Oh,
The
exactly.
local
It's the person appointed.
Okay, we need to write that one.
So who needs a license?
Sí, no?
D.
D. Check this out. A developer selling homes in her subdivision.
I didn't see her.
Oh, you didn't see it. So it's for sale by owner. Do we need a license?
Oh, no.
Bruno, say again, and it's actually, it's what?
When there's a will. The person that executes the will.
A bank didn't make any sense, and I was one for D.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Did you guys understand why? You're there debating? Paul, you're good? Yeah. All right. Auctioneer needs a license because he's a third party handling other people's properties. 105.
So it's the police sheriff? No, no.
Don't get there.
Okay.
Auctioneer, period. All right, 105. The deed known in New Jersey as a bargain and sale deed with covenants against Grantors Act is also known as, also a question, quitclaim deed, fiduciary deed, warranty deed, or D, special warranty deed. The deed known in New Jersey as a bargain and sale deed with covenants against Grantors Act is also known as quitclaim deed, fiduciary deed, warranty deed, or special warranty deed. Write down the answer.
Hold on.
I'm holding, I'm just asking you to write it down. Write down the answer. This is state exam. No sharing of information. Answer to the best of your knowledge. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, great. Correct answer is D as in David.
Yes, yes.
Special.
A bargain and sale deed with covenants against Grantors Act is also known as special warranty deed or limited warranty deed, if you guys want to think about that. All right? A quitclaim deed, there's no warranties, no guarantees, no nothing. Right? Fiduciary deed, what is that? Warranty deed is full guarantee. Okay?
Yeah, none of them.
So, this is chapter 19. Talks about the different types of deeds. Chapter 19, the second half of it.
Page? Can't make life easy, but.
106.
Mhm.
Ron Smith dies suddenly, leaving a wife and 2 minor children, but no will.
Mhm.
Okay, so Ron Smith died, no will. New Jersey law of descent provides that his wife is entitled to his entire estate, half of his estate, $50,000 plus half of the remaining estate, or the entire remaining estate after the children reach 21. Write down your answer. Is 106. Write down your answer. Ron Smith died, leaving wife and 2 minor children, but no will. New Jersey law of descent provides that his wife is entitled to everything, half of it, $50,000 plus half of the remaining estate, or the entire remaining estate after their children reach 21. The correct answer for 106 is
A, B, D means.
A.
C as in Charlie.
See? Where's the 50,000 coming?
One.
Law of descent and distribution. When you leave no will, New Jersey decides how to distribute the assets.
Yeah.
Law of descent. It's clearly written in chapter 20,
True.
okay?
Oh, boy.
Clearly written, the last page of chapter 20, transfer of title. If you have no will,
Mhm.
after we probate, meaning after paying all the debts, the person that's entitled to everything first is the spouse. But there's children. So if there are children who are also children of the spouse, then the spouse gets $50,000 plus half of the remaining estate. The rest goes to the children.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's number 2 in the section of law of descent.
But why 50,000?
That's the same.
It's the state rules.
Is that up to 50,000?
It's the state rules.
What if the guy doesn't have 50,000?
Then he doesn't get it.
That's what I'm saying, so it's up to
Imagine the guy
50,000.
has 2 million.
Fine.
Yeah.
So if he had 75,000, she's only gonna get 50.
Yeah. Considerable.
Mhm.
Plus 20, plus 50% of the 25. Half. So gets 50.
Okay.
The first 50
Yeah.
plus
Half.
half of the rest.
Because she had to put up, the children.
You guys see why it's important to have a will?
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with this
This.
headache.
This was chapter.
20.
21.
Transfer of title.
Page.
20.
Yeah.
The last page of chapter 20. All right, I've got 3 questions to go. New Jersey's Consumer Information Statement. I drilled this so much, you guys should know.
Yes.
New Jersey Consumer Information Statement lists A, both obvious and latent defects in the property, protected classes under the state's fair housing laws, licensee's agency relationship to each party, or the current mortgage plans available from local lenders. New Jersey Consumer Information Statement lists both obvious and latent defects in the property, protected classes under state's fair housing laws, the licensee's agency relationship to each party, or the current mortgage plans available from local lenders. Correct answer is C as in Charlie. The Consumer Information Statement says that you can either represent as a sales agent, buyer's agent, disclosure agent, or transaction broker. This is page 34 and 35 of chapter 3. I told you guys to write it down right on top. Please read me and even fold those pages, because for the rest of your realtor life, you're gonna need them. Okay? So correct answer is C. The CIS is about how we represent the other party. 108. Megan's Law requires that a community be alerted to the presence of convicted sex offenders. Buyers be given 3 days after signing in which to void a purchase contract. In the absence of a will, surviving children are entitled to half an estate, or tenants aged 62 or older may not be evicted. Please write down the answer. Megan's Law requires. Write down the answer. Everybody should know this one, right? Correct answer to Megan's Law is
A.
sex offenders. That's right there. Megan's Law, sex offenders, look for that answer, period. Well, 9. Mount Laurel lawsuits. We're concerned with blockbusting, redlining, stigmatized property, or exclusionary zoning. Write it down. Mount Laurel lawsuits. We're concerned with blockbusting, redlining, stigmatized property, or exclusionary zoning. Mount Laurel 1 and 2. This is chapter 4. Correct answer is D as in David. Mount Laurel is about the poor, low, moderate income being excluded from residential areas. Guys, redlining, you said B, and you're not the only one. But redlining, I said that earlier, is when the insurance company or the mortgage company refuse to insure or lend in specific areas.
That's why I thought it was a lawsuit.
Exclusionary zoning is where Mount Laurel wanted to be an elite town, and they said, hey, you're too poor to live here. You're excluded from our areas, period.
Chapter 4, right?
Chapter 4, Mount Laurel 1 and 2.
What is the?
And in listings, we talk about it again.
Okay, red line, it's with on the land. That's you say?
Insure or lend because you live in a particular area.
What is chapter 4?
I'm sorry,
Chapter 4, what is?
what is it? Discrimination, fair housing.
It's fair housing.
Discrimination. Okay? 110. A residential lease for 1 year or more is subject to review and possible cancellation by the tenant's attorney. A residential lease for 1 year or more is subject to review and possible cancellation by the tenant's attorney. This one's easy. But not by the landlord's attorney. Anytime during the first month of tenancy, within 3 business days of signing, or only if the attorney's notice is given by certified mail. Please write it down.
Okay,
Residential lease for 1 year or more is subject to review and possible cancellation by tenant's attorney. Correct answer to 110 is
I could see.
C is correct. You got 3 business days to cancel
It's everything.
any contract that's in New Jersey. Hold on, don't start packing it away. You got 3 business days to cancel leases. If they're for 1 year or more and prepared by a licensed salesperson. You got 3 business days to cancel a contract. If it's in New Jersey. Interstate property, 7 calendar days. Got it? This one is basic. You have to know. Chapter 2 addresses, and chapter 12 addresses it, and chapter 11 addresses it again. Okay? Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Did you guys see how in the last hour, it was like easy, bang, 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 everything out of the way? Imagine doing that in the state exam.
Mhm.
Okay, simple tips, get it done, pass,
Thank you,
period.
Bruno.
Thank you.
Goodbye, have a good night.
Honest, you don't see me
I got 42 wrong.
for a couple months.